What's up, guys? It's me again, Christian Rodriguez. And today I'm going to talk about my opinions on going to college, right? And I'm going to give you a warning before I get into this. If it might offend some people watching this, right? Because it's not going to be what most people tell you growing up in your life. Most people are going to tell you um like like that college is good, right? And I'm not saying college is bad, but I'm going to have a little bit of a different opinion on it, and you might not like it. So I recommend you just click off of the video just to save both of us the headache, right? But all right, so the sake of it, right? So my thoughts on college. Now, before I start, I want to talk about my background. I went to college for 4 years, right? I graduated from Sacred Heart University, like a small private Catholic school in Fairfield, Connecticut, right? Good school. It was like an hour away from my home in New York, where I grew up. So it got me out of my hometown for like a bit, right? But I'm gonna be completely honest. It has it hasn't, but outside of me probably becoming more social, right? Like developing more social skills. Outside of that, maybe getting better with women. Outside of that, it didn't really do anything for me. I'm gonna be honest. Like it didn't. My degree was kind of useless. I started off with going with a liberal arts degree, which obviously with a liberal arts major, which means jack shit, because I didn't know what I was gonna do. And my intention going into college, I'm gonna be honest, because I would always see it in movies and in media, is to party. Like party, go out, chase girls. Like the typical college movie shit, right? That's literally what I grew up like watching in movies, and I'm like, I want that, which is very short term. It's not a good way to think, right? So I basically went to college, right? I basically went to college. Um, like I wasn't in debt, but I had like family like helping me, like my parents paying for my college, right? And it was a private school, so it's not cheap. Like even with a scholarship, like it wasn't that much money. It was like $5,000 of a scholarship. Probably could have got more, but it was like 5K. So I was thinking very short term. It was 5K of a scholarship like a year. Jack shit. The school was like what, $50,000 a year. So think about how much that is. That was a huge waste of money. And then, like I partied a lot, like I already mentioned. Like I had fun, whatever. Went on spring break. And then I graduate, right? I graduate. It's 2020, COVID hits, so there's lockdown. So my senior year ended early because of lockdown, and then we started working remote. And basically, I cheated basically the rest of to get good grades. We all like during tests we would have like a giant Zoom call with everyone in class, and we would just um, give each other the answers for like exams, for online exams, because they didn't have anything set up for it yet. It was like very new for everyone, including the professors, right? And yeah, it was great. There was nothing wrong with college. It was useful in terms of like getting me exposed to like other people from other states, right? And occasionally someone from another country as well. And I studied abroad. That I would say that was like the beneficial part is I studied abroad, and it got me used to just traveling to other countries and getting me more comfortable with it. So then I was able to do it even after college, right? But I would say that my personal opinion on college. So I graduated with a finance degree, right? I had like okay grades. I wasn't like an A student, gonna be honest. But I had okay grades. I graduated. And it's not like my finance degree meant jack shit, right? Like I had some jobs, but most of the jobs I had were hard labor jobs. They were physical labor jobs. I was working construction. I was digging holes. I was working as a package handler for FedEx. I was working as a package handler for UPS. Like I was up at like 3 in the morning loading the FedEx and UPS trucks because I've worked for both of them, right? It's basically the same shit. And on Christmas, I remember for FedEx, it was Christmas, and they made us come in at midnight, right? So during the Christmas season. So we were up like basically working all night and returning back home. We would finish our shift at like 9 a.m. Right? And I was actually making good money, right? And then I got like a comfortable desk job working as a freaking what was I doing? I was like an assistant to like a loan officer, right? It was like a lending, it was like a mortgage lending firm I was working for. And everyone was so happy for me. Everyone was like giving me congratulations, good job, Christian, right? And I had a suit. I felt really good at myself. I'm like, this is this is what everyone went to college for. Like, this is great. I'm excited. I'm gonna tell you right now, I did it for like 7 months. I fucking hated it, and they ended up letting me go anyway, right? But I hated it. I was already planning on quitting, and they didn't let me go. They made it easier for me. But at that job, I mostly did jack shit. I did repetitive stuff that I probably could have done straight out of high school. Like, seriously, I could have done it out of middle school. It wasn't like anything that I needed to pay for an expensive degree for, right? And then after that, I ended up just, well, actually during that job, that's when I started like watching like self-development YouTube videos. Because I was like, how do you get rich, or how do how do you make money, right? I was like looking at stuff like that. And then that's how it led to me to read books. I would listen to audiobooks. At the time, I hated reading. I told you guys I read like crazy now, but before I did not read at all. And I remember at the time I was just like reading. I was reading. I started listening to like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant by the same author, Rich Dad's Guide to Investing, The Millionaire Fast Lane, Unscripted. Some other books they're not as memorable as this one. And I remember I was just like, oh shoot. The book that did it for me was The Millionaire Fast Lane, because it basically called all of this out. It's like, and it opened my eyes a bit, and I was just like, oh shit. If I keep working jobs like this, it's just gonna keep me in the freaking cubicle. And maybe if I'm lucky, when I'm promoted, I'll get like my own office, right? When I'm like fatter, uglier, older, and have a receipt. Well, I already do have a receding hairline, but fat and have a receipt. Well, and fat, right? And older, and they'll give me like my own office in like the corner of the company or wherever, right? And I'll feel like I'm one of the bosses or the managers, right? But it has a double-edged sword, right? Because you grow up thinking that like everything they teach you in school is great. That you're supposed to go to college, right? And then you're supposed to get a job, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with getting a job, right? But the fact that after college I worked jobs that I could have gotten, most of the jobs I've worked, I didn't need a college degree. Even after that job, I had worked construction, right? And then after construction, right, I was digging holes, I was mopping floors, I was cleaning up after construction sites. There were times I was painting. There were times I was drilling, like through concrete. So it's not like it was like normal. Like it was like shit that I could have done at 18 years old after college. Let's just say that. And then I ended up getting a sales job. And that, low barrier of entry. Is it hard? Yes, but it taught me a lot, right? And I would say I learned a lot more in that sales job than I did in a lecture hall, right? And the thing that I wanted to talk about, right, is when it comes to going to college, right? Because I find it kind of I find it borderline unethical that like society, they'll tell you don't invest in risky real estate, or don't go for a business, it's risky, right? But then they tell you, but you should go to college. Hey, you're 18 years old, you have zero life experience, you don't know shit, you don't know anything, right? But hey, why don't you take out a loan for $60,000 so you can party your ass off for 4 years, maybe do some drugs, maybe do some lines of coke, chase some women, and then when you graduate, maybe go to grad school, and say you do that, then you get a job that most likely won't fucking pay you, or they won't hire you, or you won't be qualified, right? And that's the thing. I'm not gonna. This is not for everyone because college is good. Like if you're from the South Bronx, if you're from the South Side of Chicago, if you're from Compton in LA, if you're from the hood, right, or you're from an impoverished area like a poor place where there's crime, there's gangs, and you grew up around violence, and you grew up around like gang violence and stuff like that, and you want to get away from that, then I think that's a great reason to go to college because it gets you out of that, and then it allows you to it gets you in a better environment. It gets you around kids who come from like better households or better areas, so you get higher standards. So that's where I think it's actually very good, right? But then when it comes to going to then also if you want to become like you go to you're going to college, you're like I want to become a doctor, I want to become an attorney, I want to become a lawyer, I want to become someone in the STEM field, so like a scientist, a tech guy, like a programmer, right? Engineer, mathematician, right? Then go to college because those are high paying fields, right? You could get a very, very high paying job straight out of college with those skills, right? And even accountant. You want to become an accountant, then yeah, go right ahead. But if you're just going to college to just get a communication degree so you can party for 4 years and, like do some lines of blow or do some drugs, because that's what a lot of people do, right? I didn't. I just drank, right? And smoke some marijuana. That's really it. But when it comes to like drugs, I did not do that, but I know a lot of people did that. Especially I was a part of a fraternity, so I would see a lot of that often. Especially I lived at the party house. And what I'm going to say is it's not it's I think it's a waste of your fucking 20s. I think it's a waste for your early 20s. Now, I think it's different for women because I don't want to get too into this because I don't want to make it that type of video. But I think it's a little bit different for women because women could, obviously women in their 20s, they they are at a higher value than the men. The men have to build value. They have that value. They're at the top. They're at the top of the world. They're at the top of the food chain in college, right? They run the show. Men, even the most charismatic men, the men who get women, those guys, even after college, they still have to grind. They still have to build themselves, or they're gonna fall off fast, right? And you want to do stuff like self improvement. I started this a little later than I should have, right? And the thing that it made me realize is is if I even if I was like 18 years old, right? And I could go back now, my personal opinion, I probably would have just gotten a sales job. Or even if I worked in the trades or worked labor, even if I worked in a labor job and I saved up that money, right, for 4 years and then I decided to do something else, that would have been far more beneficial and I probably would have had far more life experience. My personal opinion. Um, I wasn't coming from a dire situation at home. I just wanted to get out. But I think that would have been more beneficial. Even like doing sales for 4 years, 5 years, right? The year that, like everyone your age is at college, straight out of high school. You do that for 4 or 5 years, and then suddenly you have a very high income skill. Maybe you could start your own business. Maybe you could keep doing sales. Maybe you could get a a higher ticket sales job, right? Maybe instead of selling like just Toyotas, you start selling Lamborghinis, or you start selling luxury. You start doing you're a luxury real estate agent, or you do high ticket sales for penthouses in Manhattan, like stuff like that, right? And like I said, it's there's nothing wrong with going to college if you have a plan in place and you know that you want to be one of those fields that I mentioned earlier. But if you don't want to be any of those fields, or if you're not from the hood or a impoverished area and you need to get out to avoid violence and to break the break the cycle from your family, the poverty cycle from your family, then I seriously think that college is not worth it. That's personally my opinion. I know people aren't gonna like it. People are gonna say, "Oh, like that's not the right thing for you to say." I think it is because I don't think it's the right thing to tell an 18-year-old kid who, because I grew up around this, especially my town. Remember, everyone would show off what college they got accepted to. It was like almost a competition. Oh, I got accepted to Michigan. I got accepted to Harvard. I got accepted to Cornell. I got accepted to Northwestern. I got accepted to Northeastern. I got accepted to U Miami. I got accepted, like all these fucking colleges around the US, UCLA, right? And the thing is, it was like a flex and it was like almost like a competition and it was a superiority competition. And the thing is, sure, like some of those kids might have come successful, but I bet you most of those guys are not going to be anything. They're just going to be like regular dudes, right? And a lot of them probably partied in college, probably started doing drugs, because that's what happens. Like this is a thing that everyone ignores. It's so socially acceptable to do that, right? To invest basically 4 years paying 40 or $50,000. That's basically going to send you back a Ferrari. Think about that, right? That's for a private school. If you go to a public school, what's like $20,000, $15,000. I'm not gonna say don't go to college, but I'm gonna say that blindly. My opinion, I think that it's kind of the most it's kind of ridiculous how like everyone tells you to willingly nosedive into student debt, right? That you don't even understand yet because you have zero life experience. You don't understand what you're going into. You don't understand how much is going to affect you years down the line, right? And stuff like this puts you into a golden handcuff, right? This keeps you. If you read the book Unscripted by MJ DeMarco, it keeps you into the script. It keeps you like lucky for me. My family supported me. My parents support me, and they paid for it. But at the same time, they didn't have to do that. That could have been used somewhere else. That could have been saved. I could have gone to I could have gotten a sales job. I could have developed skills. I could have done something for 4 5 years that wasn't that, right? I probably would have been had a lot more money now, been far more successful right now, and yeah, I probably would have started this earlier. And that's the point that I'm making to you. I'm gonna leave it at that. This was in the back of my mind. This was something has been bothering me for a while, and I don't want people to make the same mistake of like just getting led to the slaughterhouse blindly, right? You're getting led to the slaughterhouse blindly without anyone telling you um, the dangers of going into the slaughterhouse, right? And obviously, I'm not saying this for everyone. I'm saying this for the few people that are just going to go to college to party and get drunk and get a communications degree or something, right? And another thing I also, before I end it, another thing I wanted to mention too is the thing about college is that in America especially, it's very commercialized. It's very yeah, it's commercialized. And the way I see it, the universities, they want to get your money. They do. And I don't blame them, right? Everyone we live in a capitalist society, but it's also the same thing with the universities, right? Whether it's state owned or it's private. Obviously private's more expensive, but I personally think that it's even if you like invested, even if you were 18 and you didn't know what you were doing, right? And say you thought your intention was to party, right? Get drunk, party, get high, or whatever it is, right? Party, chase women, like stuff like that, which you'll learn that it's not worth it. It's not worth it at your age when you're that young, right? Because men start with zero value. Men have to build value while women have the value. So it's very different at 18 years old. You have zero value. No one respects you. No one expects anything from you. You don't have muscle mass yet. You don't have money yet. You don't have skills. You don't know anything, right? Sure, you might have been really popular in the high school football team, or if you're European, maybe in the high school soccer team, right? But still, it's not the same. It's not the same. When you're 18, you have to build yourself, right? And don't be naive to think that delaying it 4 years is gonna make it any better. Because if you delay it for 4 years, right? 4 years later, suddenly you get the eye opener, like, oh shoot, I'm an adult now. I have responsibilities, or oh shoot, I have to build myself. Like, this is life is not as easy as I thought it would be, right? Of course, because you've been guided your entire life. It's like an extension of being a child. 4 more years of college is like an intention of being a child, right? Of getting your guided to do stuff. And I experienced it. I experienced it after college. It was like terrible. It really was. I had a girlfriend and I thought that was fine. And she ended up breaking up with me anyway. So, because I wasn't ready to have a girlfriend, right? I wasn't successful enough to have a girlfriend, right? I didn't have anything, right? And that's really it. I would say the thing that you might have to do the most is something that might help, right? You're 18, and say you decided that you want to not go to college yet, or not go at all. I would invest in a mentor. I really would. I would do research. Don't be an idiot. Don't just listen to some guy on the internet that's telling you to do this, right? Do your research. Don't decide to not to go to college because you just listened to what I just said. Please do your fucking research. But go speak with a get a coach, right? You want to start a business, get a coach. You want to get good at sales. Maybe, yes, you have your job, but I recommend you pay for one. Why not? It's freaking hard. Sales sucks too. It's not the most fun profession. It's very highly paid, but it's you're gonna suck at it and you're gonna face awkwardness. So you might as well get a coach, right? I that's those are good things to invest your money in. Even books too. Combination of books, sale, coaches. That's what I'd recommend. But college, that's just what I felt about college. I'm gonna leave it at that now. Thank you guys so much. I'm I'm going to keep creating more videos. Subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.